Hey guys, welcome back. So, I have a hypothesis, and well, I already know that my hypothesis is right because it is something that just fits perfectly with everything else I have ever experienced in my life. So, I'm going to start with some context. When when I was in high school, I got into welding. I took a welding class. And the first time I welded, I didn't wear my anti whatever light visor. So before I went to sleep, literally like I was. Hey, welcome back. So I have news for you. I have actually figured out how gangstalkers produce phantom sensations. Look, when I was in high school, I took a welding class. And during welding class, my first class, I didn't wear my goggles. If you are welding, you should wear goggles because otherwise your eyes are going to get hurt. So, after class, nothing happened during the day. It was fine. But literally before I went to bed, my eyes began burning and they began getting really watery. And the only reason that I knew that my eyes got watery because of the welding was because it happened, and that was the only thing that I had never done before. That that could possibly that had that there were too many things pointing to that. For example, the light was really bright, and I typically don't look at things that bright. Two, everyone was wearing goggles. I wasn't. Don't ask me why. And three, it was it was common sense because I had enough data points in order to make that observation. Even though I didn't, even though I didn't physically experience anything anytime near the time that it happened. I mean, near the time that I went to sleep. But for some reason, my body was completely fine. My eyes were perfectly fine until before I went to sleep. Now, have you ever gotten into like a chair that vibrates a lot and then you just like stand up and it still feels like it's vibrating, like for extended periods of time? But it has to be something really continuous. So I have had this experience after, this is going to be a little explicit, but after sex. I have had sex that is really intense. And afterwards, like, let's say that it was like a 2 hour session. Then afterwards, I still feel it in my body, like it's still going on. It's the strangest sensation ever. There is like a phantom dick inside of me. I know that sounds awful. I know, I'm sorry, but I have to tell it to you this way because this is the only way I can explain it to you in a way that makes a lot of sense. So, when during the harassment phase of gang stalking, there I saw people literally hiding on the side of my car, like crouched down, and they were literally just moving my car slightly for hours and hours on end. And before I went to sleep, guess what sensation began to feel? Like if someone was swaying my car. And guess what? It still happens today. It happens less and less and less, but gangstalkers just gangstalkers kind of have to do a refresh on it to keep that alive. So remember that I told you guys that I was getting pounded by a phantom. Remember in one of my previous videos. So so that is the exact same sensation that I felt when I had felt these phantom uh pleasantries, But the thing is that if this is the thing is that whenever your body goes through a sensation of movement that is repeated, continuous, for an extended period of time, hours and hours, hours and hours on end, or just very, very constantly, your body will literally start recreating that sensation at random times. But for some reason, my body just produces it before I'm going to sleep. Like last night, I parked somewhere it was empty, and before I was going to sleep, I felt my body literally feel like it was swaying. The thing is that now I can distinguish between, well, for the most part, I can distinguish my body swaying and someone swaying my car. When someone is swaying it, it's typically really intense. But when it's my body, it's really light. But the thing is that when someone is swaying it, I really don't know when in the beginning, when someone is swaying it, I still tell myself that it's my body and that maybe not, and I'm not gonna ever know for sure what is happening at the moment, but it's not important because they're gonna get tired of swaying my car and they're gonna stop. And if I don't react, if I don't go out and say nothing, I'm never gonna find out if there was someone or not. I have found out that there's people doing that because I have seen them. But that's the trick. They know. Gangstalkers know. This is secret knowledge that has not ever been revealed anywhere on the internet. That your body reproduces sensations when your body is continuously and repeatedly exposed to the sensation of it. So literally before I go to sleep, I literally just feel like my car is like swaying a little bit. But then I look around, like I even grab like my keys to see if they're swaying, and my keys are not swaying. My keys do not sway. I just had an idea. That's exactly what I'm gonna do to find out if someone is swaying my car. To have a fucking pendulum just hanging somewhere. Why the hell didn't I think of doing that before? Oh my god, how dumb. Well, that's solved already. Thank you guys. So yeah, well, that's gonna be my new Gangstalker swaying my car radar. And whenever it's swaying, I'm gonna record it and show you. That way I have proof for you. That's exciting. That's exciting. But yeah, anyways, that is exactly how gangstalkers make your body reproduce phantom sensations. Is that they sometimes they just expose you to some sensation that is unpleasant, such as someone outside of your car continuously swaying your car, and then your body will reproduce it. So your body just has a reaction to it later, such as welding. When you're welding, that's why your eyes are hurting. But imagine if every day, if that same day, I looked at the sun for 5 minutes and then I also welded without goggles and I squirted lemon in my eyes. If that happened, I am not gonna know which one of those three things were primarily the things that affected my eyes. Or let's say that I went tanning and I kept my eyes open, and that I also welded and I didn't wear goggles, and I also looked at the sun for a long time, and then I squirted fucking citrus in my eye. All of those things happened to me in one day, and I had never done any of those things before. And then I go to sleep. So there's these 4 things that could have caused that, and I'm never gonna know which one. So that's literally just creating confusion, right? And the only way to figure out what it is that actually caused that, it's either you isolate anything that could have happened that you typically don't do. That what was different that day. So then the 4 things were different. So you would have to recreate them. I mean, squirting in your eye, squirting citrus in my eye, that's something that has happened. So that's all to all of us. So I could ask someone, what has happened to you when you squirted? Did your eyes burn before you go to sleep? After you accidentally squirted citrus in your eyes? And that person's gonna say, oh no. So then I go ask someone else that I know, or let's say that I have no one else, because I really wouldn't have anyone else to ask them. So I would have to look at the sun for like 5 minutes. Okay, I'm done. And then I don't do any of the other things those that day. And then I go to sleep and my eyes are fine. That doesn't mean that there's no harm in the long term, but it does mean that the primary cause of my eye burning at night was not because of the citrus and was not because of the sunlight. Okay, so now I have two potential possibilities left. So now it's a 50-50 chance for me to be able to deduce which one it was, right? So I go tanning. I keep my eyes open. I go to sleep. My eyes are fine. Nothing. Now, do I have to go welding again? No, because I already isolated every of the other possibilities that happened that day. So now the only possibility that is left is the swaying, is the welding that actually me not wearing my goggles. So how I would prove that is by wearing goggles, going welding, and then if my eyes don't burn because I went welding when I wore goggles this time, that was what I differentiated. I didn't have to expose myself to that danger again, right? So now, in Gangstalking, I already took out every other factor. There's no drugs, I'm working, I'm going to the gym, I'm not taking any crazy medication, I'm not doing anything. The only sensations that are left are my left foot, only when I remember, and the swaying of my car. Now, because I experienced the phantom pounding, the phantom ass pounding, I know that my nervous system will replicate whatever I was feeling when I was having that sensation. So I was getting pounded, so I felt like I was getting phantom pounded, right? So then, through logic, someone is swaying my car. And whenever there is like a lot of, even when I'm not using drugs, someone is swaying my car. So I know that drugs are not the cause for that. Now, what is left? What is left, the only thing that's still being done is someone swaying my car. And guess what is the thing that I still feel before I go to sleep? Someone swaying my car. So there you have it. Through reasoning, through deduction, and through logical thinking, through experimentation, and to understanding how my body reacts to the stimuli, I can sure with 100% certainty tell you that the phantom car shaking is done because gangstalkers are literally shaking my car for an extended period of time, and my body is just replicating that. I got it, guys. That's how gangstalkers manipulate your body into shaking. Now, I am unsure if the shaking can take other forms of shaking. When I was standing up, my body began shaking. And I remember that during that time, my car was being swayed every time, every day, all day, for hours on end. So there's a possibility, I don't know about this yet, but there's a possibility that the shaking can take various forms. But it's still shaking. That's freaking crazy, isn't it? I'm so excited to share this with you guys. So, what do you think? It's cool, right? So, at least now I know with 100% certainty that that is the gang stalking methodology of producing at least half of the sensations the direct energy weapons are supposed to make you feel. By physically shaking your car or shaking you for an extended periods of time. There is a pattern on all of this. Everything gang stalking does requires an incredible amount of repetition. A brutal amount of repetition and continuous exposure to it. That's why when I am away from anyone and anything that has to do with gang stalking, most of the gang stalking things stop. Well, that's all I have to share with you today. Thank you so much for listening. And I really hope that this increases your knowledge about gang stalking. All right? Thank you for watching. Bye.